Hello, and welcome to episode 42 of the Tavern Chat Podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern. Blog. All right, got a few things to touch on today. One of them is in reference to what happened yesterday. Actually, in reference to what happened with our, in relation to our episode yesterday, apparently. About an hour after the episode went live, the Forgotten Dungeon Mega Adventure AD&D D&D 5e DS77W was suspended by Kickstarter. And the stated reason why it was suspended by the creator is, let me read a little bit of what he has shared and posted on Kickstarter. Kickstarter allowed this project to launch while our other Kickstarter was running. Then after a week, they decided we cannot run two Kickstarters together. I asked them to just end it early, and they refused, so it is suspended. I have no idea what they mean by suspended. I assume it will resume when the other Kickstarter, which is still running with that issue, completes on July 7th. The Kickstarter so far has not answered any of my questions, and reviewing their rules, it says nothing about multiple Kickstarters. All right. Well, it most certainly does say something about running multiple Kickstarters. I knew about this for years. I used to, refer to it as the Ken Whitman rule. Thank you, Kenny. Can I run more than one project at once? We don't permit running multiple projects at the same time or launching a second project before fulfilling your first one. Having multiple live projects can confuse backers and split support. Moreover, running a project is a lot of work, and having more than one live project will likely dilute your attention and energy. So, there's two things in this paragraph. We don't permit running multiple projects at the same time. That is very specific. It says you cannot have more than one project running. Funding. Now, and that's what that's what it means right there. Multiple projects at the same time running. That's the funding phase. Okay, you cannot have more than one project open to fund. Now, that is something that should be caught by software, in my opinion. It shouldn't be a rule in place that, maybe this is something that when you sign up for Kickstarter as a project creator, it's one of those. Have you read the 17,000 words that are part of your terms? Yeah, click yes, I agree, and you move on because that's probably there now. Now I found this. It's a screenshot from last night's yesterday afternoon's post at the tavern. So that's there. The second part of that, or launching a second project before fulfilling your first one. That also is very specific. To me, it says you're a new project creator. You have your first project out. You cannot launch a second one until everybody has gotten their shit from your first project. It is not saying you can't run your sixth project while your fifth one has not fulfilled yet. It's not saying that. It says you can't launch your second before fulfilling your first. So the companies out there are a number of them. Goodman Games, Frog Eye Games, many others, will have projects that are open. They have not fulfilled yet, and they will come and they will launch a second. I can't say second. They will launch another Kickstarter while the previous one is still in various aspects of fulfilling. That is fine according to the Kickstarter rules. But that part only applies to your second project and your first one. But multiple at one time applies to everybody. Everybody. Not a hidden rule. Okay? If I could find it and if I knew about it and I don't run projects, it's not a hidden rule. It's out there. Now, the other thing I want to mention here is be careful what you wish for. When you ask me to cover your Kickstarter, whether, and the assumption was, I'm sure, on the tavern, but I figured I'm going to do a couple of Kickstarters on the podcast, and then I'll cover some separately as posts on Tenkar's Tavern. You're asking me to take a look at this. Now, I didn't even realize that the project creator had 2 different projects open at the same time until I noticed that I had them both in my links. Now, the other one was for a set of RPG rules, which is fine. But I opened it up because I was like, what the hell does this DS stand for? And I realized that DS stood for whatever the game was. Sorry. Dragon something. But then I realized as I was doing the podcast live, oh my, it's somebody with 3, it's the same person running these, and they're both open at the same time. Oh my gosh, that is a violation of Kickstarter rules. So, apparently, somebody at Kickstarter listens to the podcast. I mean, listen, is it possible that, yes, it was open for a week, and then an hour after I went, oh shit, this is a violation of the rules, that they just happen to catch it on their own? Sure. Or it could be that a listener reached out to Kickstarter and said, hey, look at this. Or somebody at Kickstarter listens. Again, be careful. I can't control what happens when I bring attention to something. And I didn't reach out to Kickstarter. And I do hope that when the creator launches again, whether it's on Indiegogo, as he hinted to, or whether it launches again on Kickstarter, that he removes the references to AD&D and D&D 5e from the title of the adventure. The Forgotten Dungeon Mega Adventure is all you need. And then you go on with the Forgotten Dungeons, an old school adventure that incorporates legendary artists from the days of TSR, AD&D, D&D 5e, 77W, DS RPG. I guess it's Dragon Skills. Because, in all honesty, when you put it in your title, I know you're doing it for search reasons, but you're going to have issues with Wizards of the Coast. Why? Not necessary. Why? Why draw attention? Especially at this point. All right, so that's the recap. On to something a little bit more light, interesting. June is the 40th anniversary, June of this year, the 40th anniversary of the AD&D First Edition Player's Handbook. According to Wikipedia, it was published in June of 1978. Now, it's not the first D&D book I saw. The first D&D book I saw was a DMG, because that's how I played my first session, the one-on-one with my friend Kenny, running it straight from the DMG, and having to call a friend to find out if I leveled, because Kenny did not have the Player's Handbook. Shit happens. I personally, out of the core 3 books, including the Monster Manual, the DMG, and the Player's Handbook, I love the original artwork on the Player's Handbook. That's a David Trampier piece of art. It is wonderful. To me, it really captures what D&D, what fantasy role-playing is. There they are, prying the eye out of the idol. This huge idol. It's great. Now, the Dungeon Master's Guide had the free undercover, which everyone I knew for years thought that was a demon. And it's a very empty cover compared to the Player's Handbook. And that's a shame. And the Monster Manual, to me, always looked a little bit like a child doing some, I don't want to say finger painting, but it didn't hold up to the Player's Handbook, that's for sure. Player's Handbook cover is many levels of greatness. So I've been playing fantasy role-playing games since I was, I think, 13. That's when I had my first experience. I lost my gaming virginity at the young age of 13, and I've been hooked ever since. I turned 51 next month, so tells you I've been gaming for a very long time. All right, folks, we're gonna call it at this one. I'm gonna try not to cause any more shit for people, inadvertently or otherwise. Nah, I'm not. I can't say that. That ain't happening. I can't make that guarantee. I can't even make that statement. Again, be careful what you ask for. When you ask me to look at something, I will get things seen, but they're not always going to be seen by the people you want them to be seen by. This probably would have gone under the radar unfunded. Uh, if it wasn't for the episode. Again, or it could just be, just coincidence. With an hour of the podcast going up. I don't know. All right, folks. Stay safe. God bless. Roll them dice well, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Laters.